Welcome kindreds, it's Jessica and this is the new moon in Taurus forecast. I'm going to be talking about the energy of the new moon, the surrounding astrology and how that is going to impact us. This is going to be relevant for all signs, whatever your sun, moon, rising sign is. I have created a guide though so that you can look at your kind of specifics for your sign. So I'll put the link for that down below and you can get that as a free guide. I'm trying it out for this moon cycle. Let me know if you like it, and if you do like it, I'll carry on making them for the moon cycles ongoing as well. So the new moon in Taurus, this is one of my favorite new moons, probably my favorite, or maybe the full moon in Taurus might be my favorite. My birth moon is in Taurus, so I feel it's very connected to that moon in Taurus, and the moon's also exalted in Taurus. So the moon is very happy in Venus's sign of Taurus. It's a very grounded, safe space. If you saw the forecast for the month for May, I talked about how being kind of connected, dropped into our bodies, embodied, safe, grounded are all kind of keywords for this month. And a big part of that is because we have so many planets in Taurus in this month. And so when we get to our new moon, the new moon, every time we get a new moon, it's like a rebirth point, a cycle of around 4 weeks where we are working on the themes that are present in that new moon chart. So what I do with these lunation charts is I look at them as like a natal chart, a birth chart for the moon, and we see what the signatures are in the chart and then pull those out and kind of get the themes and things that we're going to be working on over this moon cycle. So I made a few notes which I've got here, so I'm just going to be keeping a little eye on this to make sure I cover all the points. I want to make sure I give you all the information you need about this new moon. It is, because it's in Taurus, it's got that earthy, sensual, it's ruled by Venus, like I said, so that means it is connected to relationship, very much so, to love, also to sex, kind of sexual attraction as well, and also to our money and our finances. So it's kind of like the sex, love and money moon. And sometimes that's a bit off-putting for some people, but it's all about kind of dropping into our bodies and seeing what is right for us in those areas. We've got taboos around money, around sex, even around some aspects of love as well. It's love can only look certain ways, and I think that's because of the kind of suppression of the divine feminine generally in our society. There's a distrust of those kind of divine feminine qualities which determine that kind of sex, love, money kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's something that is to the forefront in this new moon. So it's something to kind of think about how we sit with those things. How comfortable are we with our money, with our resources? How comfortable are we with sex, with sexual attraction? How comfortable are we in our bodies and with love, with connection to other people through relationships? Because our whole lives revolve around these things. That is why Taurus is the kind of natural second house. It's all about our values, our ethics, and what we value. And also, so themes of self-worth definitely will come up in this moon cycle as well. So all of that was not on my notes. I will go back to my notes now and have a look at what is going on. I'll try and remember to pop the chart up next to me as well, or a link to it or something so that you can see the chart if you're interested in astrology or learning, you want to see the actual chart, why I'm saying these things. So yeah, when we get a new moon is when the moon and the sun are together in the sky, they're conjunct in the sky. So it's as if the sun kind of swallows the moon and gets reborn, and that is why I'm calling this a natal chart for this moon cycle. So that happens every new moon, and every Taurus moon is about those kind of love, sex, money, relationship-ish themes, because we are talking about the moon in Taurus, and those are the Taurus themes, and moon also brings those aspects of kind of revealing the unseen, because the moon has different phases, different ways, we see the moon in different ways. It can bring different perspectives on those themes. And also the moon's very connected to our subconscious, our unconscious, and at the new moon time, when the moon kind of disappears from the sky because it's been swallowed by the sun, it helps us to tap into our intuition and stuff. So we tend to have a lot more insight and downloads around the areas, the themes that are relevant to that new moon. So, if we've been stuck on a certain issue, perhaps, then we can have insight around that now and be oh yeah, okay, this isn't something that perhaps is recurring in relationships. And that we can maybe do some divination, use some tarot. I'm going to be pulling some cards at the end of this reading as well, of this forecast. So you know, we can bring that energy in. It is also a brilliant time for like setting intentions as well, because it is a birth, you know, and anytime something gets born, it has that potential, and so we can dream new things into being as well. I'll try and remember to link a blog post that I wrote about planting seeds of intention at the new moon as well, because even though that's not a specific post tied to the Taurus moon, it is so Taurus moon, you know, because Taurus is very much connected to that Empress energy, to that kind of abundant Earth Mother kind of energy. So the idea of planting seeds is something that is very on point for that Taurus moon connection. So yeah, I feel like my energy is a little bit kind of a bit manic for this moon. It's been a really busy few days here, and it's before the moon, obviously, as I'm recording this. I'm really looking forward to just like dropping into that Taurus moon energy, dropping into my body, just feeling that kind of grounded, sensual, you know, it is very sensual, that Taurus moon. It's a really good time to indulge our senses as well, you know, with things like baths, like slowing down as well, you know, is very connected to that Taurus moon as well. We want to kind of just drop that pace down, and I feel like I was not in that Taurus space at the start of this video. You know, I am trying to drop more into that slow, sensual, connected, grounded energy that is the Taurus moon. So that's the kind of general Taurus moon. Every time we have the moon in Taurus, we have those energies, but this specific Taurus moon has got some very interesting signatures as well, which I wanted to bring your attention to, so that you can weave those into whatever magic or ritual, or just, you know, so you can have that insight for this next 4-week period going forward. So there is a lot of action in Taurus when this new moon is happening. We have got Venus, the ruler of this moon, in Taurus as well. And when we have the ruler of the moon in the same sign as the moon, it's like extra emphasis on those Taurian values that I was talking about already, you know, the sex, love, money, the self-worth as well, the understanding of self and how you relate to the other. You know, these are all very Venus values. Attraction as well, magnetism, you know, these kinds of things are stuff that is coming out around this new moon. And if you need to make some shifts in those areas, those are the kind of areas where you can make shifts around this new moon. And then we've also got Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, and that has been ongoing for quite a while. You know, you probably will have heard, if you watch astrology videos a lot, you probably will have heard other astrologers talking about this as well. And this is kind of the last lunation that is going to have this signature, because soon Jupiter's going to move on into Gemini. So the actual conjunction is not exact anymore, but they are still very close together. And what this conjunction has been doing is kind of like disrupting in a way those Taurian themes, you know, disrupting our kind of resources, perhaps our relationships. I've seen a lot of people, especially over that eclipse period that we've just had, there's been a lot of disruption in our kind of security, sense of safety. And that has been ultimately because Jupiter, that's the Uranus effect, that disruption. And then Jupiter has been bringing that kind of lucky and almost like a charmed benevolence to that as well. So even though it's probably felt really uncomfortable, if you've been feeling kind of triggered around these issues, then, you know that you are, you are in tune, you are on point with what has been going on. And yes, this is separating now, but we've still got the opportunity at this new moon to harness that Jupiterian lucky energy. So I'm going to really like just go for it on this new moon. Nothing like, oh, sorry, my dog's like, Frodo, he's decided to go and chase something. So not like aggressive kind of really assertive goals, probably. It's probably going to be more about realigning yourself with the things that are going on for you in those areas of your life, and doing it in a really supportive way. So it's like tuning into questions like how do I judge my self-worth? Those kinds of things. Self-worth, self-value are themes that are coming up a lot. And like I said, we've got Jupiter and Uranus there, so we've got the possibility for big shifts, big changes in those areas. So if you feel like you've kind of been stuck in a kind of paradigm for a long time, where you sort of feel like, you want to work on self-love, you want to work on self-worth, but it doesn't, like you've tried the affirmations, you've tried telling yourself in the mirror that, you're wonderful, and it just hasn't kind of stuck, then this new moon, the intentions that you set on this new moon have got the potential, they're kind of supercharged, so we've got this beautiful, it's just it's the most beautiful new moon of this year for setting intentions that can really have a lasting influence. And the reason that I say that as well is because the reason this moon is hitting all of the signs, we've got all these planets in Taurus, which is a fixed sign. So that's going to be triggering everybody who's got fixed signs as if you've got planets in those fixed signs. And then we've also got Mars and the North Node and Mercury in Aries. So Mars is at home as well. So that's giving us this kind of fiery drive as well with the North Node, bringing more stuff in with Mercury, enabling those communication channels to just like open up and flow. So we've got that kind of spice to this kind of simmering around in the background, allowing that flow of communication as well. And because it's in cardinal, it's hitting all of the cardinal placements as well that people have got. And then we've also got Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So that has been ongoing for a long period of time. And both of them are sextiling, which is a supportive aspect to this new moon, which means it's going to bring that kind of Neptunian dreaminess to it, which like even if you don't do anything specific for this new moon, it would be a really nice time for kind of like a date or like a romantic or even just like with yourself, like a really nice time to just kind of curl up with a fantasy novel and something nice to drink and like a hot chocolate or something. Chocolate, sweet things are very Venus. So it's got that kind of fantasy indulging, romanticizing element to it as well with that Neptune sextile. But Neptune's not super closely sextiling this new moon. Saturn is though. Saturn is only like 1 degree away from being an exact sextile to this new moon. And so Saturn is all about kind of boundaries and limitations, which is a bit like, sometimes we don't we don't really want that energy sometimes, but we need that, don't we, in our relationships? We need to be able to define boundaries and to if we want to build something that's got longevity, that is going to last, then that Saturn sextile, that supportive Saturn aspect to this new moon is giving that kind of foundational and that solidness to our intentions that we set now. It's really like if I could pick a moon to manifest for and like be like, I'm going to place the planets here, 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 then this is a brilliant arrangement, a really great arrangement for any kind of magic or ritual that is going to help you to birth a new understanding of yourself, your values, your value as well. So often we tie our self-worth to things that are outside of us, and this moon has given us the opportunity to kind of like just to have an awakening around that and really shake up the way that we see ourselves and birth something, a whole new possibility. Yeah, it's so exciting. I'm really excited about this moon. It is just so powerful. So I wanted to pass all that on. Let me just have a quick look at my notes. I think I've covered a lot of the astrology. Yes, so the other thing that I wanted to say about this as well is that we've also got the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius happening at this moon as well. So it's not in a super tight orb to the moon. It's kind of loosely squaring it because it's also in a fixed sign. But Pluto retrograde it's got that kind of rebirth theme. My daughter is studying classical civilization and she's doing the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, where he goes down to the underworld and he like charms Hades and Persephone with his songs and asks for his beloved to be returned to him. And they say yes, she can be returned to you on the condition that you walk out of here and you do not look back. And so he agrees, obviously, and he walks and Eurydice follows him. But then just as he's about to leave the underworld, he panics and he thinks she may not be there. And he has a very brief just glance over his shoulder and he sees her, but she's snatched back and taken back deep into the underworld. And this Pluto retrograde has got those kind of themes around it. It's got those themes of like a journey to the underworld, which I'm taking as like a kind of journey to the unconscious, to the subconscious, so we can see and face and charm, with our songs and with our poetry, we can charm the gods of the underworld and ask for things that we love, which are perhaps parts of ourselves that we have kind of shoved down and out, you know, things that we think, oh, that's not socially acceptable perhaps, or that's not something that I like about myself. We've got the opportunity in this new moon with this Pluto retrograde as well to be able to try and revive some of those parts of ourselves, but we need to like not look back. We need to set our intentions and don't look back so that these things can be returned to us. It's like bringing the parts of ourselves home to us in this Taurus new moon. I'm going to take 2 tarot cards as a reading for this moon, and I'm also going to pull a card from an oracle deck as well. In my Moonwise membership, which is connected with this channel, we work with an oracle or a rune from new moon to new moon. So I like to take that in this video, in this new moon video, which I make every moon. And then at the full moon, we have a goddess guide, which is in a video that is just for members. So I want to make sure I cover all of those bases with this, but I felt like I just wanted to do some tarot with this as well. I've been really doing lots more readings for myself lately. I'd kind of fallen out of doing a daily reading, but I'm kind of getting back into that again now, which has been, you know, it just ebbs and flows. That, you know, sometimes I feel like daily readings are what I need, and other times it's something else, you know, like a bit of meditation at my altar kind of thing. Okay, so I want 2 cards for the energy of this Taurus moon, which will guide all of the people who are watching and who found and clicked on this video because it resonated with them. This is a message for you. Okay. Okay, and our first card is 4 of air. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that very well actually. There we go. It's kind of like an angel with, she's kind of like sitting and she's resting on a cloud. She doesn't have, she looks kind of sad. And the 4 of air, it's about like a period of withdrawal after heartbreak. So, you know, like I was saying about this moon, is that it's given us a chance to reassess things that have happened in relationships before. You know, we can look at our part in relationships, we can look at other parts, you know, the part of other people have played in the relationships, and any heartbreak, any sadness that we're feeling inside, we can bring that back up to be released around this moon. And what this card is saying is that we need to allow time and space for that. It's not something that we can distract ourselves and just kind of start a new relationship, or we can do something else. You know, we can do, you know, go off and just keep ourselves busy all the time, like we're encouraged to do, you know, in our society. We're encouraged to just keep busy. But unless we can find the time and space to really feel those feelings, and again, this is going back to that kind of embodiment, and we talked about the body keeps the score in the forecast video for May as well. I'll link that at the end of this video. We need the space. We need the space to kind of drop in and see, right, what is here for me? I need to kind of make a kind of soft, very Taurian protective space around me so that I can work through those feelings, work through those thoughts, and start to let go of them so I can clear some space for the work that is coming in this cycle. Oh my gosh. And then the other card we've got is the 6 of fire. Sorry, it just want to focus. There we go. So 6 of fire. So we've got this gorgeous hot air balloon surrounded by these other hot air balloons. 6 of fire is the 6 of wands. This is from the Good Tarot. I'll link this deck down below if you're interested in this deck. It's a really lovely, gentle, but also reads well deck. You know, it's one I use quite a lot. The 6 of fire is joyful, you know, it's showing us, I think it's bringing in those Mars aspects as well. It's showing us the kind of possibility. If we do take the time to do this and do the kind of work that is required to find that quiet time, quiet space, and work through that stuff, our rewards are great. And our rewards are going to be a greater sense of self, a much deeper connection with our spiritual lives, you know, our spiritual centers, and also like vitality in ourselves, because it's going to mean that we don't have to work so hard to kind of keep all those parts of us suppressed anymore. We're going to release those feelings, release those emotions, and we can have freedom around those things. And that is going to allow so much more creativity to be able to bubble up through us. It's going to allow us, like I say, to tune into that spiritual so much clearer and so much easier. We're literally, it's so interesting for me that like it's connecting, even though it's fire, it's like up in the sky, and you know, directly connecting into this. It's almost like the hot air balloons are coming and they're gonna like pick her up and take her take her away to these like new heights, new places where, yeah, it's just those wells of creativity that we can access. That's really, really beautiful. It's transformational. I love that it's a boat as well, you know, so we're bringing in like those aspects of water, air and fire. So we've got our emotions with the boat, with the water. We've got the air, which is our like mental processes, and sometimes we can get stuck with that, and we're going to move that out, move that along. And then we've also got the fire, that creativity, that spirituality, which is bubbling through it all. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful cards. And I'm going to take one from this deck, which is the Universal Folk Oracle. Let me just give that a little shuffle. This is a deck that I used to use quite a lot and I haven't used for a while, and it just kind of almost jumped into my hand when I was getting ready to make this video. It just, yeah, it was like, use me. So I obliged. I like to try and listen to my intuition about those things. Okay, so let's see which archetype is coming up for us. Ooh, okay. So we've got card 13 and it says wisdom, elementals, fairy, undercover. We've got this like elfin fairy person who's got robes. She's also got like a hair around her neck as well, which is tying into this kind of like Ostara. Obviously we're moving into Beltane. She has got a flower crown as well vibes. We've got, I don't know if they're crows or maybe cardinals on here. They've got a lot of purple on them. I'll read the thing from the book now and check what those things are. And it looks like daisies perhaps in the path as well. It mentions elemental, so we are working with those elements in this cycle. It's card 13. So 13 in tarot is the death card. So we've got that death and rebirth transformation that is happening at this moon. We've got that Pluto retrograde, remember, that is squaring this moon. We have this big, huge opportunity right now to be able to find these hidden parts and transform them, bring them out and see them for what they are. And that's going to allow us to do the work that we need to do so that we can start to release and, you know, and have that. Let me hold all of these up so you can see. Yeah, so we can have this, because this is what, you know, we're aiming for. Let's have a quick look in the book at what it says about card 13, because this is a nice, I like the descriptions that she includes in the book. Okay, so the crystal, it says Scottish greenstone is a crystal. Watch and listen for the hidden things, the underlying pieces of magic that dance amongst us always. Be still and they will be revealed. So again, emphasizing that we need to create a safe space, a safe container for ourselves in this moon cycle. We need to be still. If we're just busy, we're going to miss the important things. We need to have that stillness, that cocoon. The Fey Maiden is inquisitive and adventurous. On either side, she's flanked by Stella's jays, so that's what the birds are, representing determination and bold curiosity. The hair totem at her neck symbolises her flitting between dimensions, and the hair is obviously very much linked with the moon as well. Look out for the treasures she leaves to uncover in the physical, like greenstone for protection, because yes, this is a Taurus moon, it is an earth moon, you know, we've got that physical, earthy, grounded elements to it. What are those treasures? For me, a lot of those treasures are beautiful things I see in nature, you know, a sunset, you know, it doesn't have to be like a physical, tangible thing that you can pick up. It can be anything that is manifest in this physical world that we can enjoy with our senses. You know, the Taurus is sensual. We want to enjoy it with our sight, with our hearing, you know, anything that's stimulating our senses is just so supportive of us during this moon cycle. The whisper of the Sith and the chatter of the folk elemental beings was often our ancestors' way of uncovering the magic of all things hidden within plain sight. Seek out the natural places said to house such wee folk and look for the clues and signs. The hidden language of nature can help with our practical lives. So yeah, searching for that magic, searching for those small magics, that everyday magic, those connections with sacred places. You know, when you just go to a place and you just instantly feel there's something about this place, there's something magical here. This moon, we seek out those places. We seek out those places in the physical world outside, and we also seek out those places within, so that we can find this safe container and do that transformational work which is happening now, where we can really, there's so much potential with this moon, and that's what I wanted to kind of get across in this video. Let me know what you think, how you were feeling this moon. Don't forget to download the free resource. I'll put the link to that down below as well. If you want to see, like, if you know your rising sign, or if you just know your sun sign, you can have the details of this moon and you can see exactly how it's fitting with your chart. I put some journal prompts and ideas for rituals and things in there as well. So, and let me know what you think of that. Let me know, are you looking forward to this Taurus new moon? I most definitely am. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.